after we've set the theme to our colorful Plancy color scheme, I would like to change some other stuff, such as the logos in our pages. As you can see, we have a very dull logo that says your logo here. Well, that's exactly what we're going to replace. We're going to put our logo in the pages. And we can do this for every page, some in a slightly different way. And I'm going to show you how to adjust a logo in your normal page and how to adjust a logo in a partial. What that exactly is, I'll get to you back on that later. But first, on our dashboard, we have a media component. And if you click on that media component, you can see that it asks for a source. In this case, it's a URL, which links to a logo. So that means that if we provide our own URL that links to an image or a logo we would like to display on the top of our page, that we can show what we want to. So I already Googled a Bettyblocks logo. It is nice to have one with a transparent background. That way you can still show some of your own page without it being a blocky squared logo if it isn't a blocky squared logo. So I'm copying the image address and I'm going back to my page, and with that image address I can just remove the source that we have in the page builder, and then I'm going to paste the little nice Betty icon that I want to have in my page. So what I can do right now is if I press play to compile the page within my dashboard, you can immediately see that the logo changed to the Betty icon. So let me go back to my page, and I can also do this for the other pages, such as the My Account page or the other one. So with the My Account page, it's a little bit different, and let me show you why. If I click on the logo here, you see that it is outlined in green, and there doesn't immediately, I can see a source editor, which I was able to see in the media component in my other page. That means because this over here is a partial. A partial is a group of components that my colleague put together, meaning that if I, for example, would like to reuse the top menu, I can do that every single time. But that's not what we're here for. We're just going to change our logo, and we can do that by clicking on the edit partial button. We're going to edit the partial, and now we can click on the media component and change the source. So I can remove the URL, add in my own, and after that we can simply press next to the top menu, we can press the back icon. And right now every page that uses this green outlined top menu partial, the Betty logo has changed to that page. The page also shows the Betty logo. So let me go to one more page to show it off again, the post page. So what I can do is I can press on the media component, change the source URL to my own source URL, and the changes only truly go through to our page if we press compile, if we press the play button. So let's play the page, and well, we do see a little error, but that's not an issue right now. It is what we want to show, and that is the logo. So far we have changed our theme. Our page looks a little prettier with our own color scheme. We are capable of changing our logos, and you can do it for the other pages as well. We have some login pages down here in which you can also change the logo. So I do definitely recommend going into the other login pages, changing the code or changing the source code to your own URL and showing you off your own logos. And the last thing I want to do before leaving you with your own ideation app is adding a page ourselves. This could be quite a challenge, but let's have a look at what we can do, because our colleagues can also prepare some of these page templates for us. And a page template is basically a page that is entirely and completely set ready for us. But in this case, we only have to configure it with some changes and the entire page is built. So we can do that by clicking on the pages icon and clicking on plus new page. So in here you see that a lot of page templates have been set up for us. And what we are going to create is we are going to configure the cart and list view. This is a very fancy page. If you press preview, you can see what it does. So it gives you a nice overview of all the ideas that we will have in our application. It even gives you the option to display it in a different manner. So there we go. So we can press use, give this page a name. So I'm going to call this ideation overview. This is going to be an authenticated kind of page. That means that we need to log in before we can view this page. And well, we've already created an account in the first video. We can use that same login. And if we use that same login, luckily there is one authentication profile. It's what it's called, and it's called web user. That's what we're going to select. You don't have to know a lot about authentication profiles just yet, because we don't have to build our own authentication profiles. These things have all been configured for us. So this means, again, you need to be able to log in with your own account before you can have a look at our overview, meaning that not everyone can just randomly go to your URL and look at all your amazing ideas. They first need to log in, because we care about data security. So let's say create the page. For the top menu, we already have a top menu partial. This is in which we changed our logo. So once this page is created, it automatically uses that logo that we changed within the partial. So we're gonna press next. And this is where it might get a little tricky, but let me guide you through it. This page is going to show us all the ideas that we are collecting in our application. However, the page does not know yet of which model and of which properties it needs to use, which data it can and is allowed to use. So we're going to tell it exactly that. We're going to tell it that it can use the post model. One single post in your application is an ID in your front end. So we're going to give it data from the post model. So within the post model, there's also an image. So we can do that by clicking on the post model, and now we're searching for the data that we want to give to our page. So we're going to give the media property. So make sure to search for the media property. And as you can see, we've now connected post media to our image property, meaning that the picture that we add to our ideation post will now display in here. Well, for the title property, as it says, we're going to search for the title property in our post model. So we're going to scroll down, and as you can see, there's a title property. And we don't have a subheader, but for the description property, well, you might have already guessed it, we're going to search for a description. And we can also just type it in, and there you go. A description is displayed for us. Data connection is a little tricky, but this is also one of the more difficult to configure pages. But once you have configured this page, as you can see, we can press save, wait for the page to build. And as it's loading in, you can see that it has an amazing overview already. It's nice light tint of the Plancy overview. And let me press play to actually give us this page with our first created overview, as you can see, with the ridiculous image that I picked. And we can even show it and display it in different tiles. And just imagine, the more IDs you get on your page, the bigger and better this will look. So let's go back to our page. We now have an ideation overview page and a dashboard page. The last thing that I want to do is connect our dashboard page to the ideation overview page. I want to make sure that people can get to our overview page as well. And we're going to do that by adding a new navigation button. On websites, there's buttons that lead us everywhere and nowhere, and we can do that in two different kind of ways. As you can see, whenever in the components section to the left-hand side, I type in button, there is an open page button. So we can drag this anywhere and let it link to the ideation overview page. But what we're going to do, and follow my lead, we're going to duplicate a button that is linking to a page and just change it to what we want. So we have the My Account button. This is a button that links to a page, and we're just going to change it to link to the other page. But first, we're going to duplicate it. So click on the My Account button, press the double square icon. This duplicates the button component, and then we can change the text to ID overview, and the page will no longer go to my account, but to the ideation overview. So what we've changed is we've duplicated the button, the navigational button, we've changed the text, and we've connected a new page to this button. If I'm going a little too fast, you can always slow down the video or have a little look back. And after these changes, if you make a little change or if you configure something else in your page, press play to make sure that all these changes are pushed to your new front end. And there you go. You can now see that, well, we have our ideation page and we also have this new button to the ID overview. So I can click on this and it navigates us automatically to our overview page. And if you want to go back to your homepage, just click on your logo and there you go. You're back to your homepage. So this is how you can configure an application template. You can configure the template, you can configure some pages, you can add your own themes, and you can get started and use your own applications in a matter of minutes. So please go ahead, have a look at all the app templates that we have to offer, and start the app development and app creation yourself. Good luck.